Hey YouTube, it's your girl Yona Marie, and today I want to go over what it really means to have stage presence. Yona Marie music, create with me. To have stage presence really means that you have the ability to capture the attention of your audience. It's one thing to have vocal talent or a good ear for music, the ability to play an instrument well, but it's another thing to get people's attention visually with your body. It's almost like a talent in itself for you to be a stage performer. You have your musician skills and then you have your performance skills, which is separate. So if you have a great amount of musical talent, but you don't have any stage presence, you're at risk of the audience not really appreciating what you're doing on stage at all. It's one thing to be in front of a supportive audience that is going to be by your side regardless, even if you don't have the musical talent at all. Let's say if you're at a church environment or a community fair, people are going to be more inclined to cheer for you regardless, just because they know who you are, or they know your people, or they feel connected to you because of the community. But you need stage presence if you're getting in front of an audience that doesn't have any clue about who you are. They're a tough crowd. You might be sounding good, but they're expecting a lot from you, and it takes time and a whole lot of practice with being on stage and getting in your element when you're performing. So it's one thing to give specific tips for increasing your stage presence. I might do another video for that, but I just want to get you in the right headspace of what to think about when you're trying to develop your own stage presence. You might want to later on down the road develop some specific moves, specific habits, do certain things with the stage you're on. But the first things first, you need to get in the right headspace and understand why your stage presence matters in the first place. So here's some tips and things to think of to help you get started with your stage presence journey. The first thing is pretty simple, and it's an easy thing to start with. When you're on stage, it's great to feel the music, feel the moment, feel the instrumentation. Maybe it's a track playing in the background. Maybe you're blessed enough that you have a live band with you that's playing. Maybe it's other vocalists. Feel the music, feel the lyrics, feel like you can connect spiritually with the music. And you never know, the feeling that you're getting and the physical energy that you're naturally putting out on stage, it might be enough. You might have a natural talent for really just being in your zone. It might help you to feel like nobody's in the audience. You're just in your own space, loving the music, letting your music take your body where it goes naturally, and that might actually give off a good sense of stage presence in itself. So don't be afraid to try it out with just being yourself. Some people it might not work for. Some people have a hard time physically expressing their emotions, but it's a good place to start with. So after you're really feeling your music, in your zone, not caring about what you look like, start thinking about ways to optimize the visual portion of your performance. Start to think about yourself in the audience and what you would like to see out of a performer that's really feeling the music. Maybe you would like to see them getting more involved with their upper body. Maybe you want to see them hopping around stage a little bit more. It depends on your genre. Maybe the genre actually calls for them to be in a small space, but really feeling something in their facial expression. It depends on your style, but try to see different ways you can optimize the performance visually just by feeling the music and looking good at the same time. Practice this in the mirror, or practice this in front of your friends or family. Practice recording yourself singing, and then you can play it back yourself and see, oh, I looked a little weird here. Oh, maybe it'll be good to do this dance move here. And then you can start really coming up with good specific moves to go with your stage presence. So after you get a good visual of your most rock star version of yourself, let's start to think about ways you can be unique. You're more than likely getting influence from other musicians, other performers that you've seen, some of your favorites probably. But let's talk about how you can put yourself into this zone and really stand out from them. Stand out from the greats. Stand out from people you've seen. Stand out from anything you've seen in the performance before, but make sure it's not something that will be negatively perceived. See how you can do something completely new, completely fresh, and still engage your audience in a way that'll keep them thinking about you way after your performance is over. Since I went to school for marketing, I like to think of things in the marketing terms a lot, but this is called a USP, or a unique selling proposition. So what is your USP? What will make you stand out from the dozens of other rappers that's going to be on that same set, or other singers, or other instrumentalists that are doing the same thing as you? How will you stand out and really connect with somebody in the audience in a very unique way? And now is a great time to really consider how you're connecting with your audience. Are you getting up close and personal with them? Are you looking at everybody that you can in the eye, or are you just looking straight back? Are you trying to get them to clap? Are you going section by section to get certain sides of the audience hyped? Are your hand signals giving good body language, bringing the sense of connection with your people? Don't be afraid to point at people individually and get them to sing along with you. Don't get afraid to shout something that's not a part of your set just to the audience that'll really get them revved up and connected to you and the music at the same time. Depending on where you are, don't be afraid to walk down the aisles and get closer to your audience. Try out a few different things and see what can get people really connected to your energy. And your energy brings me to the next point. See what your energy is giving off. What is your body language doing? Because you might be on stage, you might be feeling like a little bit insecure about the notes you're hitting or the next lyric. You might have a hunch, you might look down a little bit too much. Think about the most confident postures you can be in when you're on stage. Project that confidence. Don't let people know that you're in your head if you're in your head. Do the opposite of what's going on in your head. Stand proud, stand tall, because people like to see other people that are confident because it brings out the confidence in themselves. Try not to fidget. Some of us get a little fidgety with mic cords. Try to move around a lot so you don't get stuck doing some of your maybe unconscious habits that you have when you get a little nervous. Last thing is, try to avoid being nervous in general. I know it's tough to do, but try to stay out of your head when you're performing. And the best way to do that is to be over-prepared. You know the song backwards and forwards. You know the lyrics. You're well equipped enough, you have enough experience that you're able to adapt if something happens on set that's not planned, because that always happens. Make sure you're in a positive headspace. Don't be thinking about everything that can go wrong. Think about everything that can go right. And the less you put the pressure on yourself, and the more you think about how the audience will enjoy this. How can I put on the best show for the audience? How can I connect with this audience member the most? How can I make it so they go home and don't forget this experience? That will help you get out of your own head and get out of those automatic thoughts that can come when we get a little bit anxious about our performances. Again, like I said before, this will take a lot of time. This will take practice. You won't be the greatest at stage presence from the jump unless you have that natural talent for it, which I said, stage presence, performing is a talent in itself. Separate from your music, separate from your good ear, having stage presence, the ability to connect with people with your physical movements, your body language, your facial expressions, all of that is a talent in itself, and it's super rewarding to work on. It's also hard to do in a pandemic where these performances is not happening as often as we want them to, but just keep practicing, practice in front of others, record yourself, and you'll see that you can get better over time with your physical movements when you're on stage. Thank you for tuning in, and if this video was helpful for you, please consider subscribing, and also check out my website and subscribe there as well for email updates at yonamariemusic.com.